Lift and roll the shoulders. Lift your toes and then just place the toes down again. And just slightly rock forwards and backwards. And then just slightly side to side. And then have a sense of being in the centre. Breathing in, raise the right arm. Doesn't matter which you raise. Just stretch up. And then just take the right hand behind the head, chin down, and right ear over to the right. And then breathing in, come back to the centre. And breathing out. Lower. Right arm. And then breathing in, raise the left arm, stretch it, drop the hand behind the head, chin to chest, come over slightly to the left. You can use your right hand against the thigh just to support you. And then breathing in, coming upright, and breathing out the other hand. Lift and roll the shoulders. This opens the gateways, the energy pathways up to the head. Circle the hands up, clasp, reverse, stretch up. Breathing out, go to the left. And you can either stay static or bounce. Breathing in, come to the centre, stretch up. And breathing out, go to the right. Come to the centre, stretch up. Very gently turn to the left. Again, you can bounce or stay static. Breathing in, come to the centre. And breathing out, just turn to the right. And come to the centre. Stretch up. And then just float and circle the wrists down. How are your hands, by the way? Okay. And then just circle the wrists the other way. And a nod to the hands. Just open and stretch the fingers a couple of times. Almost flick them out. And then just slightly pull the joint and circle it one way. Doesn't matter which hand you start with. Pull, circle one way and the other way, and just slightly pull. The pulling gives a tiny, minute amount of space within the joints where all the crystalline deposits and you've got blisters, haven't you? So that's a kind of just gently pull. It's almost like the body's creating a protection when you have water. But just pull and then circle, circle. Just pull. And then the same to the other side. Circle one way and the other, pull. And the other thing that can be suspect on the hands is the wrists. So if it's not going to drive you mad, bring the hands forward, flatten them out. I've got my back to you, Sue, but I know that you know how to. You can feel the wrists moving, and the wrists can get mucked up sometimes on your energy flow. And you can stay with this, or if it's going to drive you at the wrists, and go backwards. Go like that. And then just shake your hands out. And then we come to the neural pathways. So breathing in, raise the right hand. And circle the wrists one way. And then circle the wrists the other way. So the brain is having to coordinate the movement. I can't do this, so I don't know what it says about me, but you can circle one hand one way and the other hand the other way, and I just can't do it. I just go peculiar. No, it's so hard. And you can do it the other way.
Think about it, the more views you get.
However, don't beat yourself up because I can't really do that, but just then lower the hands, lift and roll the shoulders, and then just go to the other side. So we're just raising the hands, just the easy bit. And then the other side. And then if you want to circle, start circling one way. The second I bring It just doesn't work. But anyway, just you can have a go and then just release. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then breathing in, raise the hands again. Just clasp somewhere where it's comfortable, or elbows maybe, and just start to sway from side to side. And you can almost bring your elbows forwards and back as you circle, just as a freestyle. So this comes into somatic movement. It mimics that kind of spiraling aspect that's present in all growth patterns in nature. And very often, by moving in this way, we're creating different patterns from our habitual patterns, which can then, if you free up the patterning of your movement, you free up the pattern of your mind. That's the theory behind it. And then just release and lower the arms back down alongside you, and then just lift and roll the shoulders. Clasp the hands behind you, aim the knuckles to the ground, and just open the shoulders. And you'll feel the chest lifts. And if your chest is lifting, you're creating space for your abdominal organs. You can feel that. And it's uplifting for the mood. And then just very gently turn slightly to the left, up to the centre, and then very gently turn slightly to the right. And come to release. Lift and roll the shoulders. So just coming to tapping, so literally where the collarbone comes, the end where the shoulders are. At this point, if you tap, it's called K27, and it links to the kidney energy, which is all about our life vitality. And when people are sort of a little bit stressed, they often go, they go like that, and that kind of is stuck in that. So that's weird, but quite relevant. And then the other thing, weirdly, is tapping the head, because if you're tapping your head, you really can't think of very much at all, and you've got lots of little points on your head. So from there, just very, very gently tap the top of your skull. Weird, you can tap a little bit down, you can tap a bit. It's just very hard to maintain stress. And then just release the shoulders. Lift and roll the shoulders. And step the feet a little bit apart. We did this yesterday. I'm sure you'll be familiar with this, Janet, because you just go from side to side. It's moving all the energies in the body. I think every Eastern practice has this in its various formats. If you choose to lift your heels and go swing more and go around your shoulders, you're coming into something called yantra yoga, which is the medicine side of Tibetan yoga, where you can just sway from side to side. It's very good for relieving tension if you're standing in a queue and you just want to just do a subtle fly side to side.
Yeah, doing all the other people.
Yes.
When somebody finds you alone in the queue. Everybody thinks you're mad.
Yes. Well, it doesn't matter if they know.
Good way of getting them to stop invading space.
Yes. Yes.
Leave me alone.
Oh dear. Meltdown. Do you remember that meltdown I had in Spain with you? Coming back, complete hot crowded, and I just absolutely was not coping well. And Sue and I the same, we're both travel sick, so we were like big divas vying for first place in the front of the van. I mean, it's just surprising we're still speaking to each other. Oh dear. And just very gently come to a stillness. Lift and roll the shoulders, and we'll do some half salutes to the sun. So hands together at the heart centre. Breathing in, soften the knees as you circle the hands up. Really stretch up, palms together. And then come with the palms through the centre. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And come to place your hands on your shins, wherever that works for you. Breathing in, stretch, I call it half lift, along from the tailbone to the top of the head. And then as you breathe out, soften the knees and soften the elbows as you bend in. And as you breathe in again, straighten your legs, lengthen, half lift again. This time stay here as you breathe out. And as you breathe in, soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Hands up, stretch thumbs behind, little fingers in front. And then just circle the wrists down. Lift and roll the shoulders. And again, hands together at the heart centre. Soften the knees and circle the arms up, stretching up. Palms together, come through the heart centre. Hands to the shins, half lift. Breathing out, soften the knees, soften the elbows. Breathing in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Circle the arms up, just connect the thumbs and just gently sway from side to side. And when you're ready, come to the centre and just circle the arms down. Lift and roll the shoulders. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. Into the left. And out to the right. And then come back to the centre. Lift and roll the shoulders. So we will get to a nod to Carol and half salute to the sun. So, but very, very gentle. Anybody who doesn't want to do half downward dog, then don't just do cat-cow. Hands together at the heart centre. Soften the knees and circle the hands up. Palms together. Come through the heart centre. Soften the knees and come to place the hands either side of the feet, securing your balance. Step or slide the right foot back, stretch the leg and right knee down to the ground. Slide the left knee back. We're in tabletop. Just gently sway the bottom from side to side. And you might look over one shoulder as you go, as hips go one way and then with the other shoulder. It should be a natural rhythm, so as the hips go one way, you look over the opposite shoulder. And very gently come to the middle. Some classic dip in the back. And then round in the back, chin to chest. Feel each time that you're leading with the base, the tailbone, base of the spine. So the base of the spine initiates a ripple movement. So you dip your back, finishing it looking up, if that's good for your neck, if that's good for your neck. And then initiate the spine so it will ripple through chin to chest. And either carry on doing that, or the next time that you round chin to chest, tuck your toes to come into a downward dog. So lifting the knees, bent, lengthen the spine, and then lengthen the legs one at a time. And then walk the dog by bending one knee and extending the heel of the other. And then reverse, so you then bend the other knee and extend the opposite heel. And just a couple of times, walking the dog, you're connecting your thumb and your second finger to the ground. Support your inner elbows next to one another or facing one another. And then extend both legs.
Bend both knees now back down to the ground. Flatten your feet if they weren't flattened already, and just widen your knees slightly. And come onto your elbows so that the bottom is in the air, you're in almost like a half puppy. And just wag your tail slightly, moving from side to side. So this is, again, connecting to a somatic movement and having that semi-oscillating, almost semi-spiral movement that again connects to our development, growth, connects back to patterns being formed, and just come to a centre. And then, still with your bottom up, slide your bottom slightly back and slide your hands slightly forward. Your forehead might come onto the ground if you're in puppy pose. So you'll feel this in the upper back. Make any adjustments with your elbows or your hands to suit you. And then you can either stay where you are or just explore extending the right fingers forward slightly away from you. That's opening up the right side. And your bottom again just slightly goes back to give that stretch on the right side. And then bring the right hand back, elbow on the ground, and just extend the fingers, away from you. Bottom slightly goes backward so you have that stretch. And then bring the elbow back. Very, very gently come up to tabletop again. And move your hands to the left to give space for your right foot to come up. And then hands to either side of your right foot. And then, if you're able to kneel up, open the palms, so you're opening the shoulders and the sockets and look up. And then very gently bring the left hand to the navel, the right hand to the waist, and turn to look over the right shoulder. Turn just the head to look back over the left shoulder. Bring the head to the centre, tummy in to support you as you slightly come forward over your right knee and place both hands to either side of your right foot. Tuck your left toes underneath, lift your left knee and step or slide your left foot to your right foot, hands on the shins, half lift. Breathing out, soften in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. And then softening the knees, pressing the feet into the ground, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then breathing in. Raise the hands, thumbs behind, little fingers in front. And breathing out, lower the arms back alongside you. And then lift and roll the shoulders. And we come to the left side, hands behind, opening the shoulders. And then separate the hands, slide the hands down the backs of the legs, soften the knees, and come to placing hands to either side of your feet. And then slide your left foot back. The left foot remains high for a nanosecond, and then left knee to the ground. And then right foot slides back because you are a tabletop. And then once more, dipping the back, looking up, rounding the back, chin to chest. The next time you dip your back and look up, just do a nano bend of your elbows and straighten them again, and just feel the tightness in the lower abdomen And just do that again, just softening the elbows and then just straighten them again. Feel the connection in the lower abdomen. And then round the back chin to chest. And either carry on doing cat-cow. If you want to come to downward dog again, lift one knee and then almost straight away the other. Soften the knees, then begin lengthen the back and then begin to extend the feet. You can widen your feet. If you want to, you can always keep a bend in your knees. Walk the dog by bending one knee and then the other knee. And you can almost rock your hips from side to side as you're walking the dog. By having the elbows facing in towards each other, you're securing the tops of the arms in the socket, so you're aligning and protecting your shoulders, and then bending both knees, and then come back down to the earth. Dipping the back, and then rounding the back. Chin to chest, and bringing the bottom towards the heels and stretching out. You can widen your knees if you want to for a moment. And then walk the hands to the right so that the left hand then goes on top of the right hand and feel the stretch on the left side. And then very gently walk the hands to the centre and carry on so you come to the left and the right hand goes on top of the left and you're stretching out the right side. And then come to the centre, slide the hands to the knees, you kneel up. And then bring the right hand to the navel, left hand to the waist, turn to look over the left shoulder. Come back to the centre, turn to look over the right shoulder. Bring the head back to centre. And then just bend your knees, touch your fingertips to the ground. Bring your bottom to the right, or the left, and then come to stretch your feet out in front of you. And just bouncing the legs, and coming to look at the circulation in the feet. So toes up, and away, and up, and away, and up. And then circle the ankles in one direction. Any travelling on any aircraft? How was that, by the way?
No problems at all.
Circle the other way. You can do this anywhere, anytime. And then this will get you a serious mad bounce. So just bounce your legs, and then rub and catch your legs. It's almost like skin brushing and boosting the circulation. You can just do a Tarzan around your backs and your kidneys. Really boosts your And then, I don't know where any of you are on your knees, but if you ever have knees that are a bit tricky, you can do this seated. And the knees are hinge joints, so all you need to do is just to sway it forwards and backwards, and it lubricates the knee joint. Just very, very gently. I mean, it's as simple as that. And then just place the foot on the floor and massage around the knee joint. The whole of the knee joint is and underneath is a marble point. It's a massage point. You've got little dents which you can go into, which are acupressure points. Then just supporting, and then just again lifting up the other knee, hugging in, dropping your hands and just swinging. And then just place that foot on the floor and just massaging. And then if you've got your bolster to the right, it's optional, you don't need to use it particularly. Hug the, that's close it. Did you close it? Or
No,
did you
no,
close it?
no, I was about to open it, it closed itself, so I think it's telling me something, so I leave it.
It's just strange, just because doors.
Yeah.
So just hugging the right knee into the chest. And then opening it to the right and maybe using your support just to rest it and relax it. Your right foot doesn't have to connect to the side, it's just a nod to it. Extend the left heel slightly, just touch your fingertips to the ground. And then breathing in, just raise your arms up, thumbs together, tummy in, just slightly go to the left, bend the elbows and then just slide the hands along the left shin and lead with the chest, heart, and then just slightly come forward. You don't have to come very far at all. You'll feel this in your outer right hip. The chin to the chest is relaxing for the nervous system, it's activating the vagus nerve. They're coming forward slightly, moves the spine in the opposite direction, so you're directing the breath into your back. You might find your hands wander down your shin a little bit more, might not. It's called head to knee pose, Janu Sukhasana. And the slight rotation that we've got here, in this case going to the left, is realigning the spine because you're just very subtly extending, elongating the muscles along the back. The thigh open at the right side is opening up the lower lymphatic system, so that boosts your immune system. And then very gently, just slide your hands up your left shin. Place your right hand behind you, and breathing in, raise your left hand, looking up at your thumb. So this disconnects the eyes from the stress centres of the brain, becomes a mindfulness exercise. Now, I know that Carol would quite like, so we're all going to watch you, Carol, but only if you want to drop your hand down. I'm suggesting you don't do this, but I just wanted to do, if you wanted to do your thing, to go up, go towards your knee. So it's chew that beautifully, and then come down. That's really excellent. And then just extend your legs. Oh, wow. Oh, goodness.
It's a lovely
That's
a cross leg.
It's amazing. That's good.
I can't
Right.
do
Lovely
it.
stretch though, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
I can't do it because I find this really painful.
Do you?
I've
That's
got really bad hips.
okay. Well, we're doing the left side. Is it
Oh
too
yeah,
painful?
no, do that. Yes. I'll just do what I can do.
I'm just saying with the hips, with leaning forward from there, it just doesn't go.
We're going to get
Do
your
that.
Yeah, I can do the legs out like that or slightly bent, but it's when they're straight, I can't.
So bend the leg less. So come to the other side, the left side, left. Just bring the leg up and don't open it so far. Really have it. Only
Yeah, I mean that is
open.
better if it's not so far. I don't know what to choose
Or-
having that up and not go down or anyway, yeah.
Or have the legs out.
Mm.
Would you prefer that? Does that mean
No, I've done one with this. I'll
you
do
do it the other side? Okay. So just only a nod to it. Lengthen the body, arms up, slightly go to the side, tummy in. So this time just have your hands here, just come forward only to where it suits you. That might only just be here. You don't have to come forward at all.
So much easier on this side.
Are you finding this easier on this side? Not really.
No, neither particularly, is it?
Okay, we'll have a look at the hips then, but we'll do it in a different way, and you'll see what I mean. And then just very, very gently slide the hands up. If you want to go to the ultimate gorgeous one, you move your bolster away, left hand down, right hand up, just look at your right thumb for a moment. Again, a mindfulness exercise. And then you can either stay looking at that, but if you want to roll to the left, you would press down with your left hand and lift up, chin into the chest. And when you're ready to come out, it's quite a strong one, which means you've got great upper body strength if you can do that, which is interesting. You must have. And then Sue here is a reflexologist, if you remember that, I don't know if you've been before. So any bit of the body that you want to, maybe the hips, where are the hips?
The hips are on the, I have to put it around. The hips are on the outside of the foot. So coming down from the little toes, you've got your shoulders, the first sort of lump, and then your elbows, and then your hips are sort of the lower lump on the side of your heel. Further down. Yeah.
If you want
It's
to
like a
massage
dip and then
there.
it goes up again. I mean, it's slightly different because depending on the shape of your feet, it's quite hard to get to. So the hip area is down at the bottom there, yeah. Or towards, it's about maybe a third of the way up from your heel on the side, that area there.
It feels slightly tender.
Yes, I mean, it's, if you've got hip problems more on one side than the other, you'll find that the reflex point on that was probably, let's try this side with me. Yes, it's not because this hip's all not too bad, it's okay there, but I can feel it's slightly more tender on the right hand side, so that's the area. So it's quite general, I'm being not very specific there because it's
So
hard
it's
to
the
show.
left hip, left.
Yes, it's depending whichever side is. It is, yes, it's the same on the foot. So it's that sort of whole area around there. I mean, you can be more specific with the actual joint and stuff, but it's too hard to show because it's too detailed. So that's the general area. Isn't it? So massage those areas if you can get to them. It's not easy. Certainly not doing it at the same time, but if you can massage it, it just helps. It just eases up the reflex points on the foot to help heal your body.
However, I'm not going to let you off your hips. So, with your bolster, sort of easy to hand, come to lying, knees bent, feet hip width apart. And you might want to press your feet down to lift your hips just to straighten yourself out. Palms down. And you might like to widen your feet a little bit to the edge, more towards the edge of the mat. Yeah, it's up to you. And just start to very gently let both knees drift to the right. Your left hip will lift off the ground and your head might slightly roll as well. As you breathe in, both knees go upwards and you're massaging across your lower back. And then both knees drop down towards the left side and your right hip lifts. And then just start that in your own rhythm. So ideally it's as you breathe out, your knees drop, the hip lifts, you breathe in, your knees lift, and breathing out, your knees drop to the opposite direction. So it's ideal to coordinate your movement with your breath, but don't worry if you're going at a slightly faster pace. The wider you have your feet towards the edge of the mat, the more the knees will drop into the centre, and that's quite releasing for the lower back and the hips. And you might find that your head moves, so yogically your head would move away from the direction of the knees. But if you find that your head is going doing its own thing, then that's fine too. So this comes to a somatic movement, and we come back to this oscillation, this kind of semi-circling the sensory aspect, the feel of the massage of your, in this case, your lower back, your bottom almost on the ground, overrides the theory, it overrides the mind function, so it becomes quite sensory in its movement and very calm for the mind. The back muscles, and so the hips, because they're all very connected, are fairly heavy duty, and they take quite some time to start to relax, for the body to feel safe enough to let go. And then just very gently come to the centre. And keeping your right foot where it is, hug your left knee into the chest. And coming back to the hips, just circle your left knee while you're holding it in one direction. So here you're giving a full rotation of your top of your leg, your thigh bone in the hip socket. When we've got stiff hips, I could talk ad nauseum about this, but quite often the movement of the leg, it doesn't reflect the full rotational movement. And whatever happens, there are little contractions that happen where the muscles aren't used, and they pull on the lower back and the hips, and then just circle your knee, your left knee, in the opposite direction. And then holding your left knee into you, relax your right leg along the mat. And then have your bolster to the right of you. Mine's instantly disappeared somewhere, it doesn't matter. And then, there it is. And then roll your entire body. You might like to use your left elbow to support you over to the right. And the bolster just supports, potentially, might not do, but it's there if you need it, the underneath of your left inner thigh. If not, your left foot is kind of close to, it doesn't have to connect to your right leg, but it's just rolling over. Your left tip's off the ground, obviously. Your right hand is somewhere on the outer edge of your left thigh, and your left hand is on your waist. So in terms of the hip, and you said that you opened your hip out to the side and that was uncomfortable, is this any better?
Yeah.
Because we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it in a slightly different way, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you can optionally extend your right heel just to stretch out the body and then just relax. And you've got a choice with the left arm. You can leave it where it is. You're opening your left lung. You can increase that stretch by bending the left elbow and raising your left arm above you, resting the back of the left hand on the floor above you, and then stretching your arm out as little or as much as you like. And you'll feel a real pull under your left arm. So that's getting into the upper lymphatic system. That's optional. And they call it expressions. And a third choice, the third expression, I think will be too strong, but you could open your left hand out along the mat like a book at shoulder height, left palm down, and that's really strong. But you might find that if you do that, either your left shoulder's not on the ground, or you start to lift your left knee upwards, which means it's, I'm not quite there. So that's really, might be a bit strong, but if you love that, then that's fine. And you can look up or slightly to the left. Your eyes can be open or closed. And I just wanted to remind us that if you close your eyes, your brain waves, you'll start to slow down almost automatically. The more breaths that you do, the more they slow down. It's quite incredible how it shuts out the outside world. And then to come out of that, just gently roll onto your back. Bend both knees and both feet are on the ground because you'll feel slightly skewed. Lift your bottom and just release and relax your bottom back down onto the ground. Take your bolster or support from the right to the left side, and then just gently sway both knees a little bit from side to side. And then very, very gently hug the right knee into the chest. Is your right hip worse than your left hip, or vice versa?
Yes. This one.
The right one.
The right one's better.
The right one's better.
I'd
Okay.
say the right one's better.
So it's the same thing here. We're just going to very gently circle the knees in one direction. The right knee, and you're holding it. And then very gently circle the knee in the opposite direction. And then extend the left leg along the ground. And just roll the entire body. You might actually use your right elbow over to the left. And the same thing, right hand on the right waist, left hand somewhere on the outer
Okay.
right thigh. Is that making sense? You can extend your left heel and then just release and relax. Your eyes can be open or closed, looking up or looking over towards your right shoulder. So when you bend your knee up like this, what you're doing is creating space at the lower back area, but doing it one hip at one leg at a time allows you to focus a little bit more, and you'll often get into a better position. And then on the ground, you're not having to, somehow you're achieving the same movement that you were doing sitting up, but it's easier, particularly if you're tight in your hips. And coming forward can be a bit of an issue sometimes. So it's just a different way of getting into this pose. And again, you've got the invitation to raise your right arm up above you if you want to open up under the arms. The body takes a few breaths to really understand and to get to relax. So that's fine balance. Should be in for a minimum of 5 breaths really. And then you can choose how long you want to stay for. And then just very gently thinking about coming out of that. So rolling back, bend both knees, feet on the ground. Just lift your bottom. A couple of pelvic tilts, so that's flattening the back as if you're going to lift your bottom and then going in the opposite direction. So there's a little gap under your lower back. A couple of times. And then very gently hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. You can have your knees apart and then just rock from side to side till you come back again to a somatic movement. You're massaging across your lower back. You're massaging across the back of the head. You can rock to one side a little bit, or you can rock right over almost onto the back of your arm. Again, we're coming back to that half height, that oscillating kind of semicircular movement. It's hard to retain rigidity and patterns of thought when you're just slightly being fluid in your movement and going from side to side. So again, the body reflects the mind reflects the body. So encouraging a sensory, fluid half rock, roll from side to side, freeze everything up. And then come to hug the knees into the chest. And in your own time, raise the left foot up to the ceiling, extend the left heel, left arm goes up and behind you, look around the chin, slightly cups the chest. And when you're ready, breathe out and hug the left knee back into the chest again. And then when you're ready, raise your right leg, the right arm goes up and behind, extend the right heel. When you're ready, breathing out and hug the right knee into the chest. And again to each side in your own breath pattern. And then hug both knees into the chest when you're ready. Still holding the knees, let both knees drift away. Hugging both knees into the chest. And let both knees drift away. And again, hug both knees into the chest. Your own breath pattern. So again, this semi-supine movement where you're massaging across the lower back, top of the bottom, top of the sacrum really. It's helpful for the lower back, but it's also starting to go into the hip. And then when you're ready, just very, very gently place your hands under your thighs and bring one foot and then the other down to the earth. So this is particularly a hip exercise. Just sway the knees from side to side. And then you said your left hip, if that's right, is worse than your right.
Yeah.
So we'll start then with the right. So keep your left foot where it is. Hug your right knee into your chest. Open the right knee to the right and just rest your right ankle, right foot on top of your left thigh above the knee. Hands, palms down on the floor. And just very, very gently sway both knees in the same direction from side to side. The hips will slightly lift. So you're opening here, you're doing that opening, again it's in a slightly different way. It might not be quite as easy as when we rolled over on the floor, but how are you finding this one?
Yes, okay.
Because this is opening that you found harder sitting up, and you're doing the same thing here.
I'm fixed.
And then just very gently come to the centre, hug the right knee into the chest, and then supporting the right leg as you place the right foot on the floor. Sway the knees from side to side, and then this time leave the right foot where it is and hug the left knee into the chest. Supporting the left leg, open the left leg to the side. So you can choose to open the leg a lot, or if you slide your ankle out more to the side, that opens it more, but you can only just gently cross over and almost have your lower calf connecting to your right thigh. That opens you up less, so just go to where it feels comfortable. And then just very gently rock your knees from side to side. I've said this before, the hips can stiffen up with muscles, and one of the little muscles that can stiffen up and cause tightness in the hips, this exercise targets. There are more variations of this, but this is just a beginning, gentle opening. very gently hugging the left knee into the chest and placing the left foot on the floor. And then hands either on the abdomen or palms down on the floor. Perhaps actually on the abdomen, because we're going to do a breath work. Very simple, increasing nitrous oxide into the body. Breathe in through the nose, and in your own time, breathe out through the mouth. A few times to your own breath pattern, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. This has multiple benefits. Relaxes the muscles, it increases the nitrous oxide uptake in the body. And just let the breath drift away. And we're going to come to a seated position. So just very gently, you can roll to the side, or you can hug your knees into the chest to roll to the side, and take your time to come up to a seated position. If you like to sit with your legs out, sit with your legs out. If you like to sit in a cross-legged position, sit in a cross-legged position. And we're just going to start to finish with some somatic movements. So just very gently bring the hands to either side of the head and the thumbs behind. So this connects to the head, obviously. You naturally bring your chin slightly down towards the chest. We've got a lot of energy points in the hands. They're called nadis. A lot of electrical flow in the hands. And this now connects into the head, and you've got that feeling. Again, this comes back to somatic movement. You know, babies like to be swaddled very tightly, wrapped, and it's a sense of security and safety. And then think about it, doesn't matter which hand you use, but think about sliding one hand to the back of the head, supporting it, your chin still down to the chest, and the other hand comes to the forehead, and you just gently press the back of the hand towards your front hand. You'll probably extend your neck even more. You're just now connecting to the third eye, and you've got some acupressure points at the back of the head here. And then it doesn't, you're going to keep your hand at the forehead and drop the hand at the back of the head. So you lift the head up and bring the back hand to the chest, the heart centre. And then keeping the hand at the heart where it is. Take the hand at the forehead and just drop it to the navel. And again, you'll find that you'll lift up at the chest. And that there will be an imaginary line between the heart centre and the navel. So you should feel that you're not compressing, you're not slumping forward, which we all do. Gravity just does that to us. Here you're just giving a little bit of space. If you've eaten a heavy meal and you don't want to sit on your knees, this is a very simple way to just lengthen up and give space for your digestive system. And then just either stay like this or bring your hand from the navel to the heart. It's a choice. Chin slightly to the chest. And take a moment to have a thought for the day with Sankalpa. It can be a thought for you or anyone at all. Mentally have that thought. It's a positive thought, quite short. Wishing you or somebody well. And then mentally have that thought a couple of times more, 3 times in total. And then just be assured that that thought has been set, the intention's been set for the day. Just let it float away. And then just bring a colour to mind, any colour that works for you today. And just mentally wrap yourself like a cotton wool with your colour, conferring protection for the day ahead. Cocoon in your coloured bubble, cotton wool, candy floss, or just a bubble. And then just very, very gently bring your hands to your forehead, your third eye. Kind thoughts. Just drop your hands to your lips. Kind words. And then just drop your hands back to your heart. Kind deeds. Thank you. Have a lovely day ahead.